Hello students, welcome to the next lecture of 12th chemistry, chapter number 10, halogen derivatives. Now in this lecture, we will be starting with the preparation of alkyl halides. In previous lecture, we have seen that there are 5 methods by which you can prepare alkyl halides, and we had done with the method of preparation of alkyl halide from alcohols. Now in this lecture, we are going to study the preparation of alkyl halides from hydrocarbon. Now both saturated hydrocarbon and unsaturated hydrocarbon both saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbon can be used to obtain alkyl halide. So both saturated hydrocarbon and unsaturated hydrocarbon can be used to prepare alkyl halides. Now in this we have studied in previous lecture. This method of preparation we have studied in 11th standard. Let's revise that method. Now we have studied that alkanes, when reacted with halogens in presence of UV light or diffused sunlight it gives you alkyl halides. It gives you alkyl halides. We have seen that, or we have studied in previous standard, that alkenes react with your halogens in presence of UV light or diffuse sunlight to give you alkyl halides. Now the order of reactivity which we have studied is reactivity order of halogens. Reactivity order of halogens. Reactivity order of halogens is that fluorine reacts faster than your chlorine, chlorine reacts faster than your bromine, and bromine reacts faster than your iodine. So this is the order of reactivity of halogens for this reaction. And reactivity order of the carbon, reactivity order of carbon can be written as 3-degree carbon, that is tertiary carbon, reacts faster than your 2-degree carbon, that is secondary carbon, and which reacts faster than your 1-degree carbon, that is primary carbon. So the order of reactivity of carbon can be written as 3-degree carbon will be reacting faster than your 2-degree carbon, and 2-degree carbon will be reacting faster than your 1-degree carbon. Now let's, but sir, there are some disadvantages also of this method of preparation. So let's see what products we get first, and then we will go to the. Now if your methane is reacted with chlorine in presence of in UV light, then you get chloromethane. You get chloromethane, and byproduct is your HCl. Now this chloromethane, if the reaction does not stop at this stage, this chloromethane further reacts with chlorine, again it reacts with chlorine to give you dichloromethane and HCl. This dichloromethane again reacts with next molecule of chlorine to give you trichloromethane, and this trichloromethane again reacts with chlorine to give you tetrachloromethane. Okay, so What is the disadvantage of this reaction? If you want single monosubstituted alkyl halide, then we don't get that because the reaction goes on continue. The reaction goes in a continuous manner, okay? Because this reaction is formed by radical mechanism. Okay, this reaction follows radical mechanism. Radical mechanism, that's why your fluorine bond, it is broken homolytically and fluorine radical is formed. And that's why since this reaction follows radical mechanism, you don't get a single product. Whatever desired product you want to have, that you don't get. You get that is the reaction do not stop at this stage. It continuously goes on reacting with fluorine to give you dichloromethane. Dichloromethane again reacts with fluorine to give you trichloromethane, and trichloromethane again reacts to give you tetrachloromethane. Okay, so this is the disadvantage of this reaction. One more, and it is also giving mixture of the products also. Let's see with the example. So if I am taking propane, if propane is reacted with chlorine in presence of UV, then you don't get single product. You get two products. You get two products, that is 2-chloropropane and 1-chloropropane. You get both the products, 2-chloropropane and 1-chloropropane. Now this is 45% with yield, this is 45% octane and this is 55%. Okay, so when you react propane with chlorine in presence of UV light, you don't get a single product. Here you are getting monosubstituted alkyl halide, but you are not getting a single product. You are getting a mixture of products. So what is the disadvantage of alkenes reacting with your halogens to give you alkyl halides? What is the disadvantage? You get mixture of products. You get mixture of products. Okay, you get mixture of products, mono and polyhalogen compounds, both mono and polyhalogen compounds. In the previous example, we have seen that we had received or we got polyhalogen compound, and in this reaction we have seen that it is monohalogen compound. The product obtained is monohalogen compound, but it is a mixture. Okay, at both the position fluorine can be substituted. So that's why this is not preferred. This reaction, that is alkyl halides, the reaction of alkenes with halogen to obtain alkyl halides is not preferable. Now next method is from alkenes, that is unsaturated hydrocarbons. Alkene react with halogen acid, that is HX, to give you, it is added in this manner to give you alkyl halides. Okay, to give you alkyl halides. And the order of reactivity can be written for halogen acid. Order of reactivity for the halogen acid can be written as HI will react faster than your HBr, and that will react faster than your HCl. That is, hydrogen iodide will react faster than your hydrogen bromide, and hydrogen bromide will react faster than your hydrogen chloride. Now let's see the addition of HBr to the symmetrical alkene. Symmetrical alkene, we know, that is both the carbons of the double bond are having same substituent. That alkene is called as symmetrical alkene. addition of HBr to alkene. Addition of HBr to alkene. Let's see. This is your symmetrical alkene. This is, you react with HBr. What do you get? So this molecule is having two carbons. Okay, this is ethene, and both the carbons are same, that is symmetrical. Why? Because they are having the same substituent. Even if bromine is attached to this carbon, we are going to get the same product, and even if bromine is going to attach to the next carbon, we are going to get the same product. Okay, so whatever this type of alkene, this alkene is called symmetrical alkene, and it gives you same product. But what happens when your alkene is unsymmetrical? Okay, let's see what happens when your alkene is unsymmetrical. Unsymmetrical alkene. Unsymmetrical alkene. Now, the addition of HBr to unsymmetrical alkene takes place according to your Markovnikov's rule. Markovnikov's rule. Okay, you have studied in 11th standard Markovnikov's rule. Let's revise it. What is Markovnikov's rule? When an unsymmetrical reagent is added to an unsymmetrical alkene, the negative part of the reagent gets attached to the carbon atom which carries less number of hydrogen atom. Okay, so what is your Markovnikov's rule? Markovnikov's rule state that when an unsymmetrical reagent, what is unsymmetrical reagent? We are using HBr. Okay, it is unsymmetrical. Both HBr, unsymmetrical reagent. It is unsymmetrical. Okay, so unsymmetrical reagent is added to an unsymmetrical alkene. The negative part of the reagent. What is the negative part of the reagent? It is the halogen. The negative part of the reagent is your halogen. So the halogen gets attached to that carbon atom which is carrying less number of hydrogen atom, or in the other words you can say the halogen atom gets attached to that carbon which is more substituted. More substituted means what? Hydrogen is replaced by another group. Okay, so in both the way you can say. So let's see the example of this. Propene. This is propene. It's react with HBr to give you two products. Okay, so how? Let's write the product. we are studying this example with respect to your Markovnikov's rule. This is unsymmetrical reagent, your alkene is also unsymmetrical. Okay, so what happens? Your alkene is also unsymmetrical. This is unsymmetrical reagent and alkene is also unsymmetrical. So what happens where your hydrogen and bromine will attach? You will get two products. Okay, in this product, to this carbon your hydrogen is attached. Let's number it. So in the first product, bromine is attached to carbon number 1 and in the second product, bromine is attached to carbon number 2. So in both the products you will get, but what happens, which is the major product you will get? You will get major product as 2-bromopropane. Why it is happening? Because your HBr, okay, this bromine being, what did we say, negative part. This is unsymmetrical reagent and negative part is bromine. So bromine will attach to which carbon atom? Which carbon is having less number of hydrogen? This carbon, second carbon. So the bromine, the product where your bromine will be attached is the product which you will get maximum, because that carbon will be carrying less number of hydrogen atoms. Or in the other way words you can say, the more substituted the carbon, to that carbon the bromine will be attached. Okay, the carbon which is more substituted, to that your bromine will be attached. But this Markovnikov's rule is not followed if you are using peroxide. If you are using peroxide, okay, if you are using peroxide, you don't get this as major, you get this as the major compound. Now why it is so? Let's see. When you are using peroxide, this is called as peroxide effect. What is peroxide effect? In peroxide effect, your Markovnikov's rule is not followed, and in peroxide effect what happens? Here is we are using CH benzoyl peroxide. Okay, if you are reacting the unsymmetrical alkene in presence of peroxide, you are reacting unsymmetrical alkene with HBr in presence of peroxide, what happens? You get this product. You don't get this product. Okay, so when your unsymmetrical alkene is reacted with unsymmetrical reagent in presence of peroxide, you get the product opposite to that of the Markovnikov's rule, that is anti-Markovnikov. Okay, peroxide, if you are using peroxide, you get anti-Markovnikov product. That is 1-bromopropane will be your major product. Okay, so in presence of peroxide, the Markovnikov's rule is not followed. Now moving to the next method of preparation. That is preparation of alkyl halides by halogen exchange. Now alkene iodides, both alkyl chlorides and alkyl bromides, they react with sodium iodide in presence of acetone, to give you alkyl iodide plus NaCl, and this is your precipitate. This precipitates out. Okay, both. So your alkyl chloride and alkyl bromide, react with sodium iodide in presence of acetone as a solvent, it gives you alkyl iodide. It gives you alkyl iodide, and the side product is NaCl or NaBr, sodium salt, and it is precipitating out, so it can be filtered out. This reaction is known as Finkelstein reaction. It is nothing. This reaction is known as Finkelstein reaction, and this is nothing but your halogen exchange reaction, where your chloride or bromide can be replaced by your iodide. Okay. And next method is preparation of fluorides. Both alkyl chlorides and alkyl bromides can be treated with AgF to give you alkyl fluoride and AgCl. And this here also alkyl bromide reacts with silver fluoride to give you alkyl fluoride plus AgBr. Okay. This and the reagent used can be AgF. Okay. Ag2F2, SdF3, F3, arsenic AsF3. So, using these reagents, you can convert alkyl chloride or alkyl bromide to alkyl fluoride. Okay, this is alkyl fluoride. Alkyl fluoride. Okay, so using AgF or Ag2F2 or SdF3 or AsF3, you can convert alkyl chloride and alkyl bromide to respective alkyl fluorides, and this reaction is known as Schwarz reaction. This reaction is known as Schwarz reaction. Okay, so in Finkelstein reaction, we studied that alkyl chlorides and alkyl bromides can be converted into alkyl iodides, and in Schwarz reaction, your alkyl chlorides and alkyl bromides can be converted into alkyl fluorides. So that's all for this lecture. Thank you.